H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.
Hello, hi everybody. This is Priya here, and we will be starting with a new module that is called as the SQL database. First of all, we will discuss some of the basics about the SQL, and then after that we will see what is the application of SQL for QA, and then we will be applying or we will be executing the SQL queries on one of the tool that I had given you, that is called as Toad for Data Analyst. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to do in this module. So we will discuss some of the basics, and then we will see the application of the SQL for a QA, and then we will also have a look at the SQL queries that we will be executing on the Toad. Okay, fine then. So we will get started. So these will be the contents. We will try to understand what is the data, what is the table, and then the primary key, foreign key, the database management system, and then the database. Okay. Now let's consider any organization. It could be an educational institute, and in the educational institute we need to store the information that is related to students, the faculty, the course, right? So this is the information that we need to store. Now can you guess some more examples that we need to store in any organization? Yes, the grocery store inventory, medical store information, customer employee for a company. Okay, correct. Okay, so these are the different examples. Yes, the financial sector like the stock exchange, the sales. Alright, so these are the different examples that are given over here. Okay, now I can give you two more examples over here. Let's say if it is a hospital, we need to store the information that is related to the patients, doctors, and other employees. If it is a bank, I need to store the information that is related to the accounts, employees, transactions, right? If it is a library, I need to store the information that is related to the different books that are available, the different authors we need to sort over there, and to whom we have assigned which book, so we can keep the track of that, right? So in every organization, we need the information to be stored. Different kind of information based on the organization. Now can you tell me why should we store the information? What's the purpose of that? What is the purpose of storing the information? To keep and access the records, retrieve the data, make the reports, future records, future reference. Yes. Okay. So we should not only store the information, but we should be able to get the information in a particular format. Means we should be able to generate the reports in a required format. For example, let's say a bank manager wants to know the total amount transacted month-wise for 1 year. Okay, so for 1 year, the total amount transacted month-wise report he wants. A hospital authority wants to know the number of patients of each disease category. Now, in order to generate this kind of report, okay, if it was manually to be done, it takes a lot of time. Okay, a bank employee should go to each and every transaction and then he has to debit it, credit it based on the cash withdrawal or based on the transfers that are being made. So it takes a lot of time for him if he goes about doing it manually. And even for a hospital authority, the hospital employees should go about, taking each and every patient file and then go through it and then categorize it, and it takes a lot of time if you have to prepare this kind of reports manually, right? So what we need to do? What is the solution for this? The solution for this is we need to store all the information in the organized way. Srinivas, can you hear me now? Everyone can hear me, right? You can't hear me, Srinivas? Leena, you cannot hear me? Okay, fine. So we have the set of information that we would like to store in the organized way. All the information in any organization, we should store it in an organized way. That is the first thing. Okay. Then secondly, whatever information we want to get, it should be in a required format. Right? We should be able to get the information or generate the reports in a particular format. And the system will get the information within the available time span. So this is what we want. Okay. What do we want? We want the information to be stored in the organized way. We should be able to get the information in the required format, and that also within the available time. And all this is possible if we have a software, if we have a tool, and that is called as a database management system, very popularly known as DBMS. Okay, that is the database management system. It is a software or a tool that is going to help us to store the data in the organized way. We can get the information, we can generate the reports in the required format, and that also within the available time. There are several examples of this database management system. You might have heard regarding the SQL Server. You might have heard about the Oracle Server, DB2, and many others, Access Database. Okay. So these are some of the examples of the database management system. Alright. Clear, everybody? So this is the solution that we have. Now the next thing is, what do you mean by data? Data is nothing but it is an information about a particular entity. Okay. Entity means what? Anything about which you can store the information. Okay, anything about which you can store the information, we call it as an entity. For example, customer is an entity because we can store the information related to a customer. Employee is an entity. Okay, sales, it's an entity because we can store the information related to sales. Products, it is an entity because we can store the information that is related to products. Okay. So anything about which you can store the information, we call it as an entity. And what is the data? It's an information about this entity. Okay. I guess it is clear, everybody, till here. Now next we have the role of the data. Okay. Why is the data used? Data is used for identifying the issues in the organization, for the administration purpose, for the analysis purposes, to provide the explanations, for the monitoring, implementation, for planning, decision making. So we have the different applications of the data. Identify, explain, administration, analysis, implementation. Lot of applications you can have for the data. Okay. Now we need to find out how to store the information or what kind of information to be stored. Now can you consider an example of a car manufacturing company? Okay, I'm talking about manufacturing company, not the showroom. So can you tell me what kind of information we have to store if it is a manufacturing company? Yes, what information we have to store? Order information, employee details, service, year of manufacture, model number, color. Yes. What else? Customer information, right? Okay. Inventory information. Yes, very good. So if it is a car manufacturing company, I need to store the information that is related to the employee, the customer, the suppliers, the raw materials, and many other information like you mentioned. Okay. Lot of information is to be stored. Now we will consider particularly the employee information. So can you tell me about an employee, what information we can store? The first name, the last name, the address, joining date, okay, working hours, personal information, date of birth, hours, emergency number, employee benefits, salary. Yes, lot of information we can store about an employee. For example, we can store the name of the employee, department, designation, salary, and many others like you mentioned. Now we will see how to store this information. This is how we store the information in the form of a table. So for the last name we create a column. For a first name we create a column. Department of the employee, another column. Designation of the employee, another column. Salary of the employee, another column. So for all the different information about the employee, we create the separate columns like this. Clear, everybody? And in the rows we are going to mention all the employee details. Now there is one more thing that we need to add over here. Can you tell me how the employees in any organization are identified? How do you identify the employees of organization? Through the employee ID, correct? Yes, exactly. How are the students identified? Student ID? Yes. Okay. So we give the identification number like student ID, employee ID, and the reason is for the identification purposes. A person may have a same name, okay, first name and last name also could be same sometimes. So how do we identify? We give the employee ID, we give the student ID so that we can identify the employees and the students uniquely. Okay. So what we do is, to our existing table, I'm going to add one more column, that is employee ID. Okay. So we are adding one more column here. But this column has some unique features, some different kind of special features it has. The first one is, any person or any two people over here cannot have the same employee ID. Means it should be unique. It cannot be repeated over here. Employee IDs should be different for all the employees. They cannot be same. So can I say that employee ID is unique? Yes, can I say this? Is it unique or not? Yes, it is unique. Second question is, can this column be blank in any case? Can there be an employee without an employee ID? It cannot be, right? So here, not blank. Since it has this kind of special features, we give it a special name. We call it as a primary key. Okay. Employee ID is called as what? Primary key. Clear, everybody? Now if I have a student table, can you tell me what should be the primary key in the student table? Student ID, right? If it is a customer, customer ID. Okay. What about the sales? Any sales that you have made? For example, I have sold a product to a customer. Or let's say I have sold a set of products to the customer. He has made sales in my company. What should I store there? Can I have something called as invoice number or bill number, something like that? Can I have that? Bill number, invoice number, for example? Yes. Okay. So here I have the customer ID and here I have the student ID, right? So for all these tables, I can have additional column over here that is called as the ID column, and that is for unique identification of the different entities. And we call these columns as what? Primary key, because they are used for the identification purposes. So they are not going to be blank and they are never going to be repeated. Okay. There cannot be two bills with the same ID. Okay. Now let's do one thing. We will focus on this department column. Do you see there is a department column here? And if you observe in this department column, the data is getting repeated. You have a technical here, technical here, technical here, here also technical, here also technical. Do you see? The data is getting repeated. And when the data gets repeated, it takes more space on the disk. Correct? The same technical, I have to save it for 5 times. Don't you think it's going to take a lot of space? Yes, it takes, more space over here. So what is the solution? Saving the same data repeatedly is not going to be a good thing for us because it's going to take a lot of space for us. Okay. So let's see what is the solution. I will implement the solution and you observe it. Tell me if you understand it. Look at this for a moment and tell me if you are able to understand. Look at it for a moment and we will discuss on that. Yes. Are you able to understand it? Okay. Now I have a couple of questions for you then. Okay, can you tell me to which department Andrew belongs? Andrew belongs to which department? Management? Correct. Janet belongs to which department? Michael belongs to which department? Technical? Correct. So can you tell me how could you identify that? I did not give you any method. I just said you've got to observe this. So can you tell me how did you come to the conclusion that Andrew belonged to the management, Janet belonged to the sales, Michael belonged to the technical? How did you do that? Did you try to link the two tables based on the department ID column? Is that what you did? Did you try to link the two tables based on the department ID column? Yes? Is that what you did? Okay, you're right. That is how you can find out. You can link these two tables because there is a common column over here called as the department ID, and that's how you are able to link the two tables. That is correct. Okay. Now let's see how we have saved the space. Previously, how we were storing the data? I was storing completely here technical. Wherever 4 is there, I was storing like this data technical. Can you count and tell me how many characters are there in technical? How many letters? 5 or 9? Previously I am asking Paresh, Jyoti. Previously Padma. How many letters are there? Count and tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay. Karishma, I am asking how many characters are present in this technical? Is it 9? Padma, 19. How it is 19? It is 9 characters. See here. Count and tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay. Can you tell me how many times it was appearing in the table? How many times it was appearing? 5 times. So can you tell me how much it was taking totally? The total number of characters? How much it was? Yes, was it 45 characters? Agree everybody? Anybody has doubt in that? Yes, that is right. Okay. So if you consider the technical technical word, there are about 9 characters over here. And we were using this technical for how many times? 5 times. So the total number of times we are using it, it's going to be 45 characters. Okay. Can you count and tell me now how many characters we are using after replacing it with a single ID number? 5 characters? Just 5 characters. So I am scaling it down to 5 characters. Do you see here? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So instead of using 45 characters, I'm just using 5 characters now. I'm saving the 40 character space. Correct? Now you might be wondering, okay, what great deal it is. I'll tell you how big it is. Okay. Now in the real time, there will be hundreds of employees, thousands of customers will be there, millions of sales orders will be happening. Okay. The tables will be really huge than you can see over here. This is just a small sample. But in the real time, you get huge databases. Huge data will be there. Hundreds of employees, thousands of customers. You need to store the information about all of them, right? So in reality, it could be like, 40 gigabytes of data, 40 terabytes of data, 45 terabytes of data. So this huge the data can be, even more than this. And now if you're using this technique, really you're bringing down the data to, just 5 GB of data, or let's say 5 terabytes of data. Now tell me, am I not saving the space in the real time? Yes. Okay, you might be thinking, department table, we are creating another table, it takes the space. But how much? It can take maximum 1 GB. That is a max, okay. Whatever I'm saying, this one is like too much. Then also it is too much. 1 GB is also too much for such a small table. It can be in some MBs, megabytes. Still I'm saving lot of space. Okay. Now is it clear everybody? Am I saving the space or not by doing this kind of arrangement? Yes? Agree everybody? Okay. Now there are two more terminologies that you need to learn over here. Can you look at this department table and tell me what is the role of this department ID? Is it a primary key? Yes, it is. Okay, because you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is unique. It is not getting repeated, and each and every department is having the unique ID over here, which is not getting repeated. So yes, department ID is a primary key in the department table. Now this column is used
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.